From my book Sports and Stocks, this excerpt will focus on two chapters related to football. Chapter 1, Football, and Chapter 8, The 2-Minute Drill. The book was designed to mix sports talk with investing talk in order to stimulate the reader's thinking. It also has chapters about basketball, baseball, coaching, mental toughness, a stock valuation example, and special situations. Here is an excerpt. Introduction. Offense, defense, and special teams is a great place to start. This book describes ideas about investing in the stock of a winning business. I write this from my point of view as a sports fan. Mixing sports talk with investing talk can stimulate your thinking. In this entertaining way, you may think about your approach to finding a profitable stock. Our goal is to find HQB, the high-quality bargain. I will show you how I find HQB using knowledge and skills applied using the ideas of offense, defense, and special situations. After reading this guide, it is up to you how you execute your game plan. This book could have been called The Athlete's Guide to Stock Valuation. However, I want to make this one fun and easy to read. So, I chose the title Sports and Stocks. This is about my view of popular sports and how these ideas can relate to successful stock picking. This book differs from my other ones because this one contains new stock examples and some motivational talk. Chapter 7 gives you my 2-minute drill. There, I show you a quick way to identify a good business to add to your watch list. Chapter 1, Football. I like watching NFL football because of the strategy involved. This includes many variables of players, formations, and plays. Together, their goal is to move the ball to the 100-yard line. This is how they put points on the board. In some ways, value investing can be viewed as a simpler 4-step process, thanks to Warren Buffett. He said, "Charlie and I look for companies that have, 1. A business we understand, 2. Favorable long-term economics, 3. Able and trustworthy management, and 4. A sensible price tag." Understand that winning football comes down to deciding on a run play, a pass play, or a kick. In value investing, I try to keep it simple by first trying to understand a business and its products and services. Second, I try to understand whether this business in front of me has something special. Is it special enough to win repeat customers? We want to see something so special that the business is hard to copy or replace. Thirdly, like football, does it have able and trustworthy managers and coaches? For a moment, imagine you are the ball carrier and decision maker. What should you do? Survey the field of businesses and look for profitable opportunities. Look for reliable businesses that have a history of producing extra cash in good times as well as economic bad times. We call this extra cash, FCF, free cash flow. Like a receiver who is wide open, look for a business with minimal competition. Think of debt as a bit of extra fat and weight on a swift runner. It slows us down. We want strong muscles and a practiced set of skills. We all like to stay within our budgets. However, the sports industry is different from value investing when it comes to bargain seeking. Can the team, coach, players, or business be purchased at a reasonable price? This is difficult. Many sports teams are under pressure to produce winning teams every year. They are forced to pay premium prices when competing for a small number of great players. This is a reflection of the law of supply and demand. However, sometimes a strong team can be built by hiring a good combination of good players. An example of this is the Oakland Athletics baseball team. The Oakland A's reached the playoffs in 4 consecutive years from 2000 through 2003. Moneyball, The Art of Winning an Unfair Game by Michael Lewis is a book, and movie, about the Oakland Athletics baseball team and its general manager Billy Beane. Beane and statistician Paul DePodesta used sabermetric principles to run the team in a cost-effective way. Sabermetrics was pioneered by Bill James. It includes methods to collect and summarize data from in-game activity to answer specific questions. The term is derived from the acronym SABR, the Society for American Baseball Research, founded in 1971. In 2002, the Athletics became the first team in the 100-plus years of American League Baseball to win 20 consecutive games. Despite Oakland A's low revenue, the team's analytical, evidence-based sabermetrics approach was used to assemble a winning low-budget team. Other low-payroll teams, such as the 2003 World Champion Florida Marlins and the 2008 American League Champion Tampa Bay Rays, have competed in the World Series. Investing is competitive. Can we buy a high-quality stock at a bargain price? First, make sure that our target stock is a piece of a high-quality first-class business. In value investing, we are not under the time and pricing pressure of sports teams. We have more time to evaluate our options. When these 4 investing filters are present, there is a higher probability of success. One of my favorite quotes by Charlie Munger is very useful: if you're going to be an investor, you're going to make some investments where you don't have all the experience you need. But if you keep trying to get a little better over time, you'll start to make investments that are virtually certain to have a good outcome. The keys are discipline, hard work, and practice. It's like playing golf, you have to work on it. Golf. We can talk about golf later when discussing our mental game. Let's get back to football for a moment and talk about defense. A good defensive strategy helps to prevent a loss. The role of the defense is to prevent the offense from scoring by tackling the ball carrier or by forcing turnovers, interceptions or fumbles. In investing, defense is acting to prevent the loss of your money. This is done by filtering out all the weak businesses. We can filter out the weaker businesses by buying only the ones with great long-term economics. We want to invest in businesses that have something special, sometimes called a moat. A moat is the strong defensive water barrier that kings build around their castles. In investing, a moat is a sustainable or enduring competitive advantage. Think brands. Next, buy only the stock of a business with able and trustworthy management. Some may be able, but, if they are not trustworthy, they will steal from you. Here is another way Warren Buffett talks about his formula: when buying companies or common stocks, we look for understandable first-class businesses, with enduring competitive advantages, accompanied by first-class managements, available at a bargain price. Look for those kinds of businesses. In football, the New England Patriots have won 5 Super Bowl championships. They have done this with variations of good offense, defense, and special teams. They have also had great players, coaches, and management. Let's also give credit to their enthusiastic fan base. In 1985, the Chicago Bears had such a team, and won that year's Super Bowl. Interestingly, the team they defeated that year was the New England Patriots. The special teams unit in football is responsible for all kicking plays. The special teams unit of the team in control of the ball try and execute field goal, FG, attempts, punts and kickoffs, while the opposing team's unit will aim to block or return them. In investing, I think of the special teams as special situations like activist value investing. In activist value investing, an individual or group purchases large numbers of a public company's shares and often tries to obtain seats on the company's board. Their goal is to cause a change in the company's business. A company can become a target for activist investors if it is mismanaged, has excessive costs, or it could be run more profitably as a private company. The activist investors believe they can fix and make the company more valuable. But, are they making the core business more valuable? This is riskier than the 4 filter steps I mentioned. However, sometimes their strategy works. So, you should be aware that this can sometimes work out well if the core business has good fundamentals. In investing, here is how Warren Buffett defines intrinsic value. We define intrinsic value as the discounted value of the cash that can be taken out of a business during its remaining life. Anyone calculating intrinsic value necessarily comes up with a highly subjective figure that will change both as estimates of future cash flows are revised and as interest rates move. Despite its fuzziness, however, intrinsic value is all important and is the only logical way to evaluate the relative attractiveness of investments and businesses. In football, growth in skill, muscle, stamina, strength, and knowledge is important to success. In stock investing, most people think that business growth is important for a gain in intrinsic value and stock price. Yes, sometimes it is. But, growth is just one component in the calculation of value. A business does not always need to grow if it becomes more efficient and it generates more profit. Also, when a strong business buys back some of its stock, the remaining shareholders' shares become more valuable. Why? Imagine a business that is equally owned by 3 sisters. When 2 of the sisters buy out the shares of the third sister, the business is now owned equally by the 2 remaining sisters. What if those 2 sisters own a football team? The intrinsic value of that team has not changed. However, the 2 remaining sisters now each own 50% rather than the 33% they had owned previously. So, their share has become more valuable. The intrinsic value of their share has become more valuable. As a player in football or value investing, you should think about good preparation and your inner mental coach. Are you motivated to learn the basics and keep learning along the way? Will you set a reasonable goal for yourself? Will you maintain focus on the most important variables? Are you thinking about proper self-management? And, how will you deal with wins and losses? I talk about these ideas in later chapters. What about players? The Chicago Bears did something interesting in this year's NFL draft. They traded up to pick at the second spot. The Chicago Bears traded up to pick Mitch Trubisky, quarterback. An ESPN analyst said in 2013, Mitch Trubisky is a spread offense coach's dream when it comes to his combination of size, speed, savvy athleticism, and arm strength. He is a shotgun passer who becomes more impressive the more you watch him. As a fan of the Bears, I hope they use him wisely, and that he performs well. Like experienced wide receivers, you want to catch businesses with a record of performing well. You want guys or gals who have made the catch before. And you want ones you can trust to continue running for yards after they make the catch. Winning players and winning coaches must learn and grow their skills. My nephew Christian rightly pointed out that they should also work on growing and maintaining a winning attitude. I talk about this in the mental toughness chapter. Just as you can learn to get comfortable scanning financial statements, great quarterbacks learn to read defensive formations better. Great running backs learn to read and time their runs towards profitable gaps they can run through. Great linemen learn their opponent's tendencies. They learn to use proper timing and leverage to create those gaps for backs and receivers. As they become more experienced, players and coaches should also be able to develop new insights. They can also benefit from having the proper attitude. In investing, we can adopt the proper attitude too. The great Paul William Bear Bryant was an American college football player and coach. He was best known as the winning head coach of the University of Alabama football team. During his 25 years as Alabama's head coach, he earned 6 national championships and 13 conference championships. As we leave this chapter and move on to the next one, think about this great quote from the famous college coach Paul Bear Bryant: "Never quit. It is the easiest cop-out in the world. Set a goal and don't quit until you attain it. When you do attain it, set another goal, and don't quit until you reach it. Never quit." I end this chapter with a note to my daughter: never quit learning more about the world around us. I have happy memories of the days when she played that other football called soccer. And I have great respect for the players and fans of this global game. Chapter 8, the 2-minute drill. In football, the 2-minute drill is a game situation that occurs often in the last 2 minutes of the half or the end of game. The offense tries to move the ball quickly to score before the end of regulation. This offense often goes into a no-huddle spread offense where the QB calls plays as the team lines up. In value investing, my version of a 2-minute drill is based on finding HQB, a high-quality business. It is biased towards the core ideas of Charlie Munger. Munger likes to own a highly profitable business that does not require continual reinvestment. In his 1995 speech, A Lesson on Elementary, Worldly Wisdom as it relates to investment management and business, Munger said, "We've really made the money out of high-quality businesses. In some cases, we bought the whole business. And in some cases, we just bought a big block of stock. But when you analyze what happened, the big money's been made in the high-quality businesses. And most of the other people who've made a lot of money have done so in high-quality businesses." Here is my version of a 2-minute drill for finding a high-quality business. When scanning the financial statements of a business on Morningstar.com's website, I ask myself these questions. 1. Does the business produce positive FCF, free cash flow? 2. Does it have a NPM, net profit margin 10%, where higher is better? 3. Does it have a D/E, debt-to-equity ratio less than 2/1? As my nephew Christian says, companies with more money have a higher chance of surviving from debt. The D/E ratio 1 can be tricky because young companies are financed mainly by equity. On the other end of quality, great enduring and profitable businesses like Coca-Cola can handle more debt, especially in low interest rate periods. So, be careful in thinking about D/E. 4. Does it produces a ROE, return on equity 10%, higher is better? If it passes these 4 steps, you have completed my 2-minute drill. And you have filtered out a lot of mediocre businesses. Now that you have credible investment prospects, start thinking about the 4 filtering steps of Buffett and Munger. 1. Understandable first-class businesses. 2. Enduring competitive advantages. 3. Able trustworthy first-class managements. 4. Bargain price relative to intrinsic value estimate. You may wonder why it is important to do this deeper dive into the qualitative filtering steps. These next steps of slow thinking or second-level thinking will prevent you from making the mistake of buying a value trap. A value trap is a business prospect that may look good by the numbers, but it may have deteriorating advantages or untrustworthy managers. In baseball, a team could be tricked into trading for, or buying the contract of a pitcher with good stats, but in reality, the pitcher may have a deteriorating arm that could cause him to retire early. The best valuations are the ones where you have applied both quantitative and qualitative evaluations.